All right, we're back here, wrapping up what has been a great run for the Cleveland Indians here in 2019. World Series champions. Take a look at this. Well, it doesn't actually show it here, but take a look at this. Yeah, that's the trophy right there, boys. There it is. So, I mean, let's. This is just going to be a little wrap up. I don't know how long this is going to go, but I just want to see. I just really want to see if we're gonna have the MVP in Francisco Lindor. So, but we can wrap up a little bit until then. We're gonna have a payroll increase, and let's see what the owner says. Yeah, wants us to win it again next year. Come on, bud. I don't know. I don't know if that's gonna be easy, but I don't know if it's that easy. But it looks like just some things that happened here. So Bud Black got fired. Okay, that's a bit weird. Joe Madden got fired in Chicago, and some GMs look like they got fired. Mike Elias, I should say, got fired after 1 year in Baltimore, and then so did Brandon Hyde, Ron Gardenhire, and of course Mike Hill in Miami got fired. But I just want to wrap up a little bit here. So talk a little bit about what happened here in 2019 with this team. I mean, somehow our rotation wasn't great. Actually, let me just, we can just autoplay here. I don't think we need to waste too much time here. Let's go up until the awards get announced. But there it is again. You can see the playoff tree. Got the trophy there now. But what started off, I thought that it was going to be our pitching that really carried us through, as Kevin Plawecki wins a Gold Glove. Very good. And Corey Dickerson is an Angel now, apparently, and he got an extension, a pretty nice extension, actually. 21 million a year. Oh my God. I feel like they're gonna regret that one a little bit, but what am I trying to say here? I felt like it was going to be our pitching that carried us through here, and that we were just going to need to get our offense was going to be what slacked us. But we got a great bat. It looks like we got two of them actually. It's Jose Ramirez and Francisco Lindor, of course. And if we're looking at WAR alone, I believe Lindor has the most WAR, although it's close with Mike Trout. It's probably not going to matter in the MVP voting, but I hope Lindor wins it, man. He only played 141 games, and he put up 10 wins. That just shows you how great of a season it was. If he played all 162 or whatever, close to 162, he would have definitely got that number up there. So I hope that the game realizes that on a per game basis, Lindor was the best player, no doubt about it. But anyway, I thought it was going to be our pitching that really got us there, but it turns out in the postseason anyway, our starting pitching really struggled, and and Terry Francona wins Manager of the Year. And Dave Martinez wins it there, Cy Young Award. Let's just see this real quick. So Charlie Morton wins Cy Young. And Bauer and Kluber finished third and fourth. But this is what I'm talking about. Like, they had good peripheral stats. Like, their FIPS were both really good. 306, but down, obviously, from last year. But that's all right. But also, Corey Kluber, his FIP was 342, which is the lowest, or the highest it's been, I guess, since 2013 when he broke out. That was his first Cy Young year, right? No, 14 was. But yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like, they kind of underperformed, I guess, contrary to what I thought. Anyway, Shane Bieber started off really well this year, but then he kind of struggled in the second half. Like, his ERA was around 3 in July, I think it was, and now it went all the way up to near 4. Carrasco, who I think is a criminally underrated pitcher in the game, he didn't have a great year by his standards. And then in the postseason, they really fell apart also. I mean, we can take a look here at Kluber. I need to look at, how do I go here? Postseason. This is the third postseason in a row, I guess, now for Kluber, where he doesn't have great results, although the peripherals were better this year for sure, but um, it's just it could have been a lot better. I think we could have even done a little bit better. Postseason again for Bauer. Again, that's 2 in a row for him. Although he didn't start any games last year for Cleveland, he didn't have a great run here. He had a couple of good starts, but not great starts. And of course, Bieber had a good start. He had 9 shutout innings, but he didn't do well in his World Series starts, or I guess his World Series start, and then also in his ALCS start, he didn't do well. So he had that one good one, which props his numbers up, but the other two were a little bit stinkers. And Carrasco, he was great out of the bullpen in the DS for us, but in his big starts, his only 2 starts of the postseason, he wasn't great. And again, it doesn't look good. So it was really our bullpen, and Kimbrel, Hand, Simber. Simber was good for us in this postseason, although his ERA wasn't great. He didn't really get that many high leverage innings, though. I gave more of the high leverage stuff to Kimbrel, Hand, and Lamet. And obviously, Dinelson, Lamet. I mean, oh man, that was a great performance by him. 6 games, 12 innings, so he was basically going 2 innings at least every single time. Gave up the 1 run, a home run, 17 strikeouts to 3 walks. I mean, that is a performance for the ages. I mean, you're talking about Andrew Miller-esque performance here. I mean, this is it. I mean, I think Miller threw more innings than Lamet did in that historic postseason run, but I mean, it's not. I don't think that's something that's replicable here in OOTP. Just the way that the stamina works, you're not going to be able to use guys 3 days in a row in the postseason. Well, you can, but you're not going to get good results. And this guy Karinchak also, who still is only 40 overall, but I mean his ratings are pretty good. And it looks like we don't have a. Oh, no, we do have a scout. It wasn't letting me click, but he was still low rated, but he's got that low control, but his pitches and movement are great. So he was great for us in the regular season, although he had 7.1 walks per 9, but in the postseason we didn't really use him that much, but he came in and did his job. I mean, he still was walking a crazy amount of guys, 4 walks to 5 Ks, but he still did his job. I mean, he did exactly what we asked for him. We didn't give him really high leverage spots, but we had a lack of left-handed pitching outside of Brad Hand, and less guys that we could go to that I was comfortable going to face lefties that weren't Hand, they weren't Brad or Craig Kimbrel. So we went with Karinchak in those spots. He became the guy, our go-to lefty, if Hand wasn't available. And so he came up big for us in big ways that maybe aren't representative of his numbers as a whole. But yeah, that's what I'm saying. Bullpen is so important in this game. If you want to have a chance over the AI, if you want to give yourself a big advantage, the AI, they know how to use their bullpen, but not as well as a human does, for sure. Humans can really go, because in this game, you're not really going to see starters coming out after 4 innings, after 5 innings, if they don't have to. And in the 4 innings again here, that's kind of how you got to play in postseason baseball. If your starters aren't giving you what you want, I mean, we had Kluber do 7, we had Bieber obviously go 9, but those were like the only 2 really long starts that we had in this postseason. I mean, Clevenger I think also had a 5 inning, in his 1 start, he went 5. So just bullpen is so important in the postseason in real life and in this game, and it's something that you can have the advantage of every single time. And so it looks like DeGrom wins back-to-back Cy Youngs. But yeah, and then of course our lineup. How many big hits did we have in clutch spots? Francisco Lindor had a fantastic postseason to go along with his great regular season. When I advance this next day, I better see that pop up. I'm going to be pissed. Ramirez, he had a slow start to the World Series, but then in the final 2 games, the 2 biggest games of the year, he comes up huge. A tying home run in the World Series, and another big homer in Game 6 that basically iced it for us. And he put up 9 WAR here also. I mean, this is an MVP season in every other year, basically, except for this year, unfortunately. And he's the best bargain in baseball. And there's no other argument for who's the best ball player or best bargain in baseball. He's a great player, and Cleveland is lucky to have him. But Jake Bauers also, he didn't have a great World Series, but he also did have some hits for us, big hits in the final 2 games. Hunter Renfroe, the World Series MVP. Again, another trade deadline acquisition. You know, you got that trade with San Diego. Even though his ratings, I think they've even fallen off a little bit. You know, I think, how do I do this now? How do I go to history? How do I see his ratings history? I forgot how I do that. Scouting, yeah. So yeah, his ratings here, I don't know if you can quite see that, but his I rating did drop a little bit in terms of potential, but I guess his overall rating stayed the same. Doesn't look like they did, because I don't remember him being a 50 with a power decline also, unless that's, I don't know. I don't remember it looking like this when I acquired him, but yeah, that trade with San Diego ends up being the biggest trade of the series. I mean, what was the trade fully here? It was Lamet and Renfroe for Hillman and Todd Isaacs. And you know, nothing against these players here, but I think we got the better end of this deal no matter what. And of course, if we were going another season, Lamet is a starting pitcher. He could be a really good starting pitcher in this. So if you're thinking about maybe shifting some things out here, Corey Kluber is going to be 34 next year, and he's got 1 more guaranteed year, probably 2 you're probably going to pick up that option, but you could even think about moving Kluber out and getting something great in return, and just moving Lamet to the bullpen, or to the rotation, and going with Bieber, Bauer, Carrasco, Lamet, and Clevenger, who I don't want to sell short Mike Clevenger also. I really like him in real life, but he's just not listed here. But yeah, so that's what happened there. So that was a huge trade. That's a trade that also wasn't just for this year also. If we were going further, you could go with Kluber, or with those two for a while now. And of course, Hunter Renfroe is going to be a Cleveland legend after that. I mean, look at that. World Series MVP. He had a great postseason. But yeah, and then we also, Jose Abreu. So this was a underwhelming move for sure. He didn't do well for us in the regular season. But in the postseason, he was great in the postseason, and a little bit underappreciated, I think, with what he did. He wasn't hitting that high up in the lineup or anything, but you know, you can't argue with a 1030 OPS. So don't want to sell Jose Abreu short, even though he had a bad 71 game stretch with us. By every metric, it was a bad 71 game stretch for us. But you know, it is what it is. We got the World Series done. We got the win, so it doesn't even matter. And there, oh, whoa, it was Jose. Oh, that's not what I was expecting there. And it wasn't even close. 25 first place votes for Jose Ramirez versus 4 for Francisco. Oh, I think they got that wrong, man. I really do. I think you could make the argument for Trout over Ramirez. Although 600, which I think Ramirez did have a better year. It's 169 versus 170. I guess it was close, but yeah, I think you could make the argument. I think that's a mistake right there. I mean, I'm glad that an Indian won it, but, or I guess a Cleveland Indian, I should say, won it, but I think they got it wrong, man. I mean, Francisco Lindor deserves to have an MVP, or Jose Ramirez deserves to have an MVP in his resume already. I mean, he could have won it either one of those years, really. But yeah, he really went up to another level today, or in this series for sure, in this season I should say. But yeah, a big. I think they got that. I still think they got that wrong though. I don't know. 164 OPS plus to 169. Lindor's a great defender. So is Ramirez though. I mean, he's not great, but he's passable. I mean, he's above average at third. But his ratings are amazing. I mean, he might be the better player. But I think just based on the stats, I think Lindor was better. Let's take a look here. 427 WOBA. ISO at 272. I just want to do some comparisons here with the two. So 427 WOBA, 272 ISO. I'm not going to remember that, but yeah, they are close. They are really close, but I still would have, if I had a vote, I would have voted for Francisco without a doubt. So, and then also, you got 2 more years of control over Lindor also. I don't know. I'm curious here. Just if I wanted to offer an extension, I'm not going to. He doesn't want an extension, but I don't know if we would even be able to afford it. Actually, we would be able to afford it. And then you could also move Kluber out and get rid of his salary, which is basically the same as what Lindor's is going to be. And free up that, maybe get some league minimum players to resupply here. Obviously, it's a lot easier to do, I think, when you're coming off of a World Series victory. In real life, I don't think that would happen. I really don't think Cleveland is going to trade Corey Kluber. But, stranger things have happened. I think Bauer is definitely a trade candidate in real life. Obviously, you got 1 more year of him. Yeah, I think you do have 1 more year of him after this. He's going to be a free agent next year. So I think he's definitely the more logical trade chip over Corey Kluber. But Bauer might be better. Bauer might be better today than Corey Kluber is in real life. In the game, Kluber still got the advantage, I think. But Bauer in real life, I might go with Bauer over Kluber. If I'm picking a team today, it might be Bauer over Kluber. But that's just me. But I know I didn't even check who won it in the National League. I don't know who it would have been. I don't think it was a Cincinnati Red. Cody Bellinger. And it was a pretty big landslide for him. Juan Soto in his second season did well. But yeah, Bellinger's also always really good in this game. And they signed him to a huge extension, a pretty team-friendly deal. I think that's going to look like a bargain at the end of it. But yeah, obviously, I don't think none of these guys had better years than either Lindor or Ramirez did, but that's all right. That's why they don't play. They don't give an overall league MVP, but I think one of Ramirez or Lindor would have gotten it. But I think that's gonna do it here. I mean, we got the championship. Let's just show it. Let's just show it off here. Also, we showed it everywhere else, and yeah, I mean that's a welcome sight, I think. So 107 wins in the regular season. Also, I still don't really know how that happened, but there's the one in 1920, there's the one in 48, and then here's the one now. So I think obviously this is probably the dream season for Cleveland in real life. I don't think this is going to happen in real life, but in OOTP where anything can happen, it ended up pretty well. So let's just go to the playoff tree to end it here. So I just want to thank everybody for watching. If you've watched every single episode to this point, these were a lot of fun to make. Obviously, you had the technical problems, which I hope ended up being fixed. But yeah, I just want to thank you guys for watching and have fun in OCP 20. Of course, the game comes out later today, so that'll be a lot of fun. So thank you guys, and I'll see you next time.